Hey guys, Rochelle here with Amethyst Ascension. If you are new here, welcome, and if you are returning, thank you so much for joining me again. So today I'm going to be doing a hashtag. This one is called OneDeckGoneWild, and I have watched several of these thus far. I thought that this was a wonderful tag that I wanted to jump on. This was started by a group of tarot community members that are in a Discord together, and they came up with the idea of this particular tag so that anybody, if you have at least one deck, you can do this particular tag. And it is a series of 37 questions. I've printed them all out here. I'm not sure if I'm going to do all of them, but I'm going to try to do the vast majority of them. And so let's just get started. I will be putting links down below to a few of them that I've seen already that I thought were really, really good. Number one, why did you pick this deck? And the deck that I chose, if you haven't figured it out already, is Tarot of the She by Emily Carding. The reason I chose this deck is because this deck has been influential in my life. It made a huge perception shift, I would say, for me. It changed my perception of a lot of cards, and I've done some extremely powerful readings with this deck. And I mean, like, shadow work readings with this deck. And I also feel like it is a communication with the she, and that is the she glyph right there. So anyways, let's get on to the other questions. So question number 2, and I will be putting all of the questions down below in the description as well, okay? So question number 2, favorite set of minors. So like your, 2s, 3s, 4s, whatever. And for me, let me move these out of the way. So for me, that was the 2s. So the dancers are the cups, the warriors are the wands, the dreamers are the swords, and the makers are the pentacles. I like the 2s because we live in a very dualistic world, and there's always two sides to every story, right? And so the 2s for me is about starting the process of sometimes seeing the difference in those two sides, or a beautiful coming together of those two sides. Like in here, like soulmates, that beautiful partnership. In the Warrior 2, where the power awakes. Well, we are doing the Deacon Walk, and we know that the 2 of Wands is Mars in Aries. And Mars is the ruler of Aries, that dual fire. So it's beautifully shown here. The Dreamer 2, Half Moon True. So it's like, it's like the good and the bad, and the light and the dark, and the feminine and the masculine. You're seeing those two sides of it, or trying to understand, which way to go, kind of thing. And then Maker 2, about like responsibility and like that perfect balance, and making choices and then taking responsibility for your choices, that kind of thing. So I thought of the 2s in this deck, but honestly, I love all of them. All right, so the next question is, what card reminds you to relax when it comes up? And that particular card is, nope, wrong one. That particular card is Dreamer 4. Four of Swords. But in this one, it's different. Usually the Four of Swords looks like, well, at least in the Rider-Waite, of a fallen soldier. You know, it looks like a fallen soldier who's already dead at his funeral, not somebody that needs to take a rest. That's like a warning, you gonna die if you don't take a rest, which could be the case, but it just doesn't, I don't look at the Four of Swords like that. I look at it as, it is just definitely a time to, like, retreat. Time for reflection and restoration and putting up boundaries with people and setting boundaries for yourself of not watching this content or not watching that content or not talking to this person today or whatever. It's like a self-care card. And this one, it shows like putting out those feelers. But if you look at some of the other cards in this deck, I'm sorry, I should probably... If you look at other cards in this deck, they have a whole lot of feelers out. In this one, there's only 4 feelers that are out. You know? So you're only taking in small amounts of information, small amounts of media, and small amounts of drama, and whatever, you know? Taking a break. So this one feels like that. So the next question is your favorite representation of the color blue. And I have Warrior 7 here. I think that is so beautiful. The skies are blue. Blue is intertwined in everything. And Warrior 7 is like, gosh, you know, taking on yet this battle again, or having to stand up for myself, but I really don't want to have to, you know, so feeling blue, because blue is also about communication and, you know, like the throat chakra. Even though this is the Warrior 7, 7 of Wands, it still feels like it is a failure of communication, and that's why there's continued strife or combat, because you still can't come to some sort of middle ground kind of thing, you know, like we can't all exist in the same space. So it would be that blue, kind of feeling blue. All right, so your favorite representation of, so my favorite representation of the 10 of Swords, or I'm sorry, the 10 of Wands is this one. Warrior 10, the Great Task. This card, along with other cards, made me realize a couple of years ago when I was bedridden for 2.5 months with gout that kept going back and forth between my feet and my ankles and toes, was not because of what I was eating or intaking. It was because of what I was going through emotionally. And it affects my body in a big way. And I discovered using this card and other cards that surrounded it and the spread that I used, which was out of 365 days of spreads. I was just doing so much tarot then, it was ridiculous. But I discovered that I believed I had a savior complex. What I mean by that is, not like I'm like this occult leader that feels like, you know, destruction and all that, and people got to listen to me because I'm hearing God and all this other. No, that's not what I mean by a savior complex. I feel like being raised as a Christian, that it is brainwashed into us that it is our responsibility to help others always and to show them the light and spread the good news about, you know, Christianity and Jesus Christ. And then we move into the new age, and we've got star seeds with these big, huge missions in order to, you know, change humanity and raise the you know, the frequency and the vibration. And we see people in spiritual communities that as soon as they start like learning new things automatically, they feel like they have to go out and teach these things to other people. Like their soul may depend on it, or like they just have to. It's just they're being led by that. I think that's part of like brainwashing, where, and or just a massive ego, where we expect that somebody else maybe doesn't already have that information. Maybe they choose not to do anything with it. That was, and I still fight it. It's brainwashing. It's definitely something that I fight. I don't think that people necessarily need the knowledge that I have. I think now that they're gonna find it. They're gonna be drawn to the things, and I believe that there's reasons why people are drawn to things, but when I would learn new things, I felt like it was my responsibility. It was the great task of my life, was to help other people. And yeah, this card and this deck helped me realize that it's not my role. It's not my place to do that. If I feel the need to share something that I've just learned, which I do, I don't feel like the other person, I mean, they're not at the same level I am, or they're not, they haven't done their shadow work, or they haven't done this or that. No, I don't see it like that. And just like when somebody is dealing with something, it seems like when they're overcoming something or trying to, or and I see it in the spiritual community all the time. When they're going through something, they automatically expect or assume that everybody else is going through the same thing they are, and that they've got to help, and it's their mission to help other people, blah, 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 blah. This card helped me realize that was part of like brainwashing. I feel like it's brainwashing, and that it's not my responsibility to take on. I'm not that bridge for other people. I am here to do my best for me, and that's it. Period. It doesn't mean that I don't want to help people. I absolutely do. But it's not my soul's responsibility, is what I'm saying. I think that comes from a very egotistical place, personally, and this card helped me discover that. Okay, sorry that was kind of long. But, so what card makes you feel nostalgic? This one does. The Wheel of Fortune. Because I started learning about the wheel, the law of attraction, and the Wheel of Fortune kind of feels that way a little bit to me. Not always, but, destiny and stuff like that, I think of as the Wheel of Fortune. And the choices that we make, not the chances we take, determines our destiny, kind of thing. And so every choice that we make leads to the consequences or the reward. So, and I started learning, it was like The Secret and law of attraction and all that led me on the path that I am today. And it still holds true to me. And this is the card that I always think of, but also because in my dreams, I know I have visited this realm. I have been to this place, and it reminds me of that. So, all right. Let's see. What card shifts your perspective? I've got two of them. This one, the Tower. The Tower no longer feels like this horrible moment that's going to come crashing down. It can be that. But I feel like this card really made it into a perspective of it being the liberator. And now that's what I stand by. That I believe that the Tower is our liberator. Sometimes, our biggest teachers are the times that we get knocked down and kicked a little bit while we're down, and it teaches us about who we want to be and who we don't want to be, right? And the kind of things that we don't want to do again, the kind of mistakes we don't want to do again. And so sometimes our adversaries are our biggest teachers. And that's why sometimes I believe that we need to match energy. When somebody puts something out, sometimes if that person doesn't see it, sometimes we just have to be a reflection of that. And that's how we can attain shadow work. So the liberator, the tower. Because sometimes people are just thick in the head, like myself. And it takes a couple of times of being knocked down and drug out that we realize, well, maybe I don't want to do this again. So I do see it as a hard time, but I still see the tower as the liberator. And it shows you what you're made of. You know, what you can overcome and yada, yada, yada. Let's see. What card, favorite animal that's represented? I'm going to save that for another one. Let's see. Which court card reminds you the most of heartbreak? No, I didn't get that one out, so I'm not going to do that one. Which card constantly follows you or appears from this deck? It used to be the Ten of Wands. It was my stalker card. And it no longer is after I went through all that and did a lot of shadow on it and, you know. So, let's see. If you made this deck a meal, what would it be? It would be a fruit platter. It's so colorful, and I feel like the Fae have more of, or the She have more of like a liquid diet and or fruits, and it's like higher vibrational. I believe that they live on a higher vibration than we do. So it would be a fruit platter. Blueberries, strawberries, watermelon, oranges, and just all kinds of yumminess. Let's see. So what is this deck's favorite book? This one right here, The She. Wisdom from the Celtic Otherworld by John Matthews. And I believe that, and this is the She glyph here. He also did the foreword for the book for this deck, for Emily Carding, which was really good. This book was excellent, and I feel like the messages that the She had in this book and from his experiences are what the She are trying to tell us. I'll get more into that further down in the questions. Let's see. If you were to travel anywhere, where would you take this deck? I would take this deck back to some of the She Mountains in Ireland, just to get a deeper connection and possibly go on a little She adventure myself, where the glyph is like on the inside of the on the walls, you know, in the caves. Let's see. Something that you would change about the deck. Nothing really, other than maybe make it not quite as long. I didn't like well, I cut this down, okay? It was black all the way around. It was just entirely too much border. And I'm actually thinking of cutting all this off and just putting the symbols in there to make it easier for me to work with. Because I don't think, and maybe because they're not all of it in here, maybe I can, it's just really long. Maybe I can, yeah. But it would be the card size. Even the card stock is okay. I don't mind it. It's just the size and the border. A borderless, good size. Let's see, the next question. Where does the deck want to go? It wants to go wherever I want to go. Or whoever's listening to it, where they're at. 15, something that you would change about the deck. Oh, I already said that. Which card would you hang in a room of your house? And that would be this one, the Star. Stunning. And I would probably put it right here in my witchy room. I love the colors. And I like that we are the star. That's already in us. Let's see, what's another one? Something that sets the deck apart. I feel like something that sets this deck apart is its level of communication. I definitely feel like when I'm working with this deck, I get dreams and I get visions. And it's when I do journeying work using the Great Glyph in order to travel into the Fey realm, the She realm. So, yeah. And that would also be, the next question would be, if the She deck could have, Tarot of the She, if it could have a superpower, what would it be? And that is communication, like psychic communication and otherworldly communication. Next question. Who would you gift a copy of the deck to if you could? Everybody. Everybody. What card would be your pet? And this is where I was going to put like my favorite animal. It would be this dragon. I want to be a dragon rider. Just like Game of Thrones. It would definitely be intimidating, but as long as I had trust, you know, it'd be awesome. So, but definitely not a pet. More like a companion or a friend, not a pet. All right, let's see. What's the deck's biggest fear? Not being heard. Somebody not getting the messages. That's its biggest fear. If the deck had its own collection, what would it collect? I don't know. Snow globes. Or otherworldly globes, you know, maybe. With little humans in them. All right, let's see. Oh, here we go. All right. Let me grab what I've used so far and put them in the deck, and I'm going to shuffle. So the next question is, draw 3 random cards. One is to bed, wed, or behead. All right, let's see. Bed, wed, or behead. Okay. Boom, boom, and boom. All right. Wowza. God, this is a hard choice. Oh my God, what am I going to choose? All right, so we're going to behead the Hanged Man. We are going to wed Justice. And we're going to bed the Maker 8. Which is, you know, like working on that skill, or this is emergence. But it's like the feeling of tapping into the standing stones, you know, like Stonehenge kind of thing. So, and seeking justice. I would marry that because I'm always, that's what I want. All right, so let's see. What's the deck's signature favorite scent flavor? Like Skittles, or because like Taste the Rainbow, right? Skittles, or I'm thinking like Starburst. those Starburst candies. It makes me think of that, with that they would like candies and stuff. What else? Let's see. Who is the deck in love with? The deck is in love with whoever, listens and heeds their warnings and takes their advice and is a friend of Mama Gaia. So that's who the she's love. How old does the deck believe it is? Ancient. Who is the deck's father? I don't know. Maybe like Oberon, King of the Fairies or something. What is the gender of the deck, or does the deck identify as a gender? It is both, masculine and feminine. Most and least favorite card and why? Okay, so I have I love this one, this one, this one. So like Temperance, that's so beautiful. I love Dancer 10, 10 of Cups, seeing the rainbow and the varying people all touching and their energies all creating that beautiful heart song together. Gorgeous. I even love the depiction of this particular card. Oh, no. I mean, I do, but this is not what this one is for. So these are my favorites among some of the other ones, like the star. I love the star. My least favorite is Maker 4, which has to do with, you've seen I don't look at the 4 of Pentacles like it is a greedy. If anything, that is the shadow side of that. That is not the upright view of that card, in my opinion. 4 is a number of stability and strong foundation. And I look at Maker 4 as somebody maybe having to be a bit frugal, because maybe they have a good foundation of income. However, always, maybe it's a time to be a little bit frugal if they see hard times coming or something like that. I don't see this as a greedy tree. I don't like it when it's depicted that way. Shadow, yes. Upright, no. So that is my least favorite and favorite. One of the cards that I also is sad to me, and I think that this is another one. I just don't know where it's at because there's so many damn questions. But there was one that I believe that was asking, like, what card makes you the saddest? This is the card that makes me saddest in this deck, because if we don't have hope, if we don't have the ability to see the silver lining in our life, or have gratitude or anything like that, that is really sad to me. That feels so lost to me. I can't relate to that feeling or that energy, and I don't want to. I'm knocking on wood. I'm not asking for that kind of, I don't want to ever feel that way, where there's no hope or anything. So that's the saddest in the deck for me. And another one was, what is the deck's favorite spread? And that favorite spread is it's got several in here. The septagram spread of the whole self. The septagram, sometimes known in modern times as the fairy or elven star, represents the 7 planets of ancient magic, the 7 directions of northeast or north, south, east, west, above, below, and within, and our innate connection with the divine and the spiritual realm. This card uses the 7-pointed star to express the idea of the 4 elements and the 3 worlds within the quadrant, giving a complete picture of where they are in their life at the time of the reading. It is particularly potent If focusing on the spiritual aspects of the Quarant's life path and lessons to use the major arcana only for this spread. In fact, if done twice, once using the minors and once using the majors, it could give some very interesting insights into the different layers or existence of understanding for the Quarant. So it's like that. And the cards are, one is the sun, that which is seen, the moon, that which is hidden, stars, that which is truth, earth, the physical, air, the mental, fire, the spirit, water, the emotional, and the core, the central issue and spiritual lesson of the Quarant's life at the time of the reading. So that. But also, something that stands out about this particular deck that I forgot to mention is, although the Major Arcana has a rundown of artist notes on all the cards, as well as a rundown of the meanings and all that, but the Minor Arcana has keywords, but also each one of the Minor Arcana, including the court cards, I believe court cards, I don't remember now, has a poem. So let's just pick one out of the blue and okay, so we'll do like Warrior 2, Two of Wands. The warrior's soul is now awake. Two from one, which will he take? The fiery serpents rise inside to offer wisdom as he decides. Keywords: duality, awakening, equals, conflict, direction, choice, creative partnership. So I love that. That's also another really super special thing about this deck, is all of the poems of the Minor Arcana and all the artist notes about how she had like contact, like they came to her as she was making this deck. It's just phenomenal. It's just an outstanding deck. And this was the one I was originally going to do, the Tarot of Oneness, and then I seen the beautiful Chanel do it over on her channel, Spirited Stardust. So I will be putting a link to hers as well. She did a really good job for this as well. But so then I decided, okay, Tarot of the She it is. And it should have been my first choice anyway. So thank you for spending this time with me. I did not do all 37, but I will put them all in the description. And I am sending you love always.